another episode of Trackmaking with Darjo. In this episode, I will be doing some textures. As you can see, I outlined some areas where I want to put some stuff textures wise. And in the black areas, I'm gonna do some like rocky mountains, and in the mud areas, I'm gonna do some water areas, and here I'm just gonna put some sand traps and a little bit of tarmac, I think. So let's just start making some selections. Um, Making textures is sometimes really time consuming, even though I have a lot of uh, pre-made textures. I often make new ones just to make them look original and new. First, I'm gonna just delete the black areas because I don't need them, and I'm gonna start applying some textures with this tool, pattern stamp tool. Yeah, and I'm gonna increase opacity in the middle of this area, and after applying the textures, I'm gonna start editing a little bit. Um, the first thing I'm gonna do is make it looks like one side of the mountain is darker, so I'm gonna apply some shadows like with darker colors like mud and oil, and I'm gonna just do it really fast. It's not that difficult, but it takes a lot of time, and you have to really focus if you want to make it look really good. Um, I always go light on oil, like I have 40 opacity right now, because if you increase too much the opacity of oil, it's just gonna look really bad, I think. Like, I usually don't have uh, really oily mountains because it doesn't look very realistic. But a little bit is good, I think. And I'm just gonna spray a little bit more border on this side since I want to make it look a little bit lighter. And then I'm gonna apply a little bit of sand and maybe gravel. I'm starting to think that these mountains have a little bit too much grass. So what I'm gonna do is uh, select the grass with the magic wand tool, and I'm gonna replace it with some mud and some gravel. All right. Now I'm just gonna do a little bit of dithering in this part of the track. Um, I go really hard on border just because in game it doesn't actually look that the opacity of the border doesn't look so hard. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of mud, and then I'm gonna start to work a little bit more on the textures of the grass. Mm, Little details in the grass really improve drastically the quality of the track. Um, for example, if you add like little lines here and there, it really makes the track look better. And always remember that if even if you don't put dithering in every single part of the track, like people are gonna notice a spot with just grass in the middle of uh, of a track that has dithering all over it. So if I wanna make like a little garden somewhere, and I'm gonna put mud all around it, and then just a little small area with no dithering, it's gonna really catch the eye and look good, even if it doesn't have dithering in it. I got this tip from Canadians, 1160, but I'm not sure because I learned it a really long time ago. So these lines really convey a really arid look to the track. So it's gonna look really dry and I'm probably not gonna put too much forest in this area. Just some bushes. To give like a Mediterranean look to the track. Even maybe I'm gonna put some sea actually here and put some really cool cliffs in this area. That might look really good, and it's gonna also make the Mediterranean look even more uh, increased. Yeah, increase the Mediterranean look. Now I'm gonna put some gravel too because it always looks a little bit good and it gives a really dusty feeling to the track. So now I want to try to give like to increase the sense of mountains that these area have. Like you should be able to tell that these are mountains just by looking at the track. To the land map, I mean, and because I haven't done them in the editor yet, but I want to make people know that these are mountains. People have to understand what I want to do in my land. I think I need a little bit more oil here and a little bit more shades. Also in this one. This episode is probably gonna be longer than the old ones, just because this is really a long thing to do. And maybe I'm just gonna show you how I did this part, and then in the next, and I'm just gonna apply the same concept um, in other parts of the track without showing you guys. Now I'm gonna apply a really cool texture uh, that I copied from Alexinir, uh, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work. Yeah, it looks cool. Those lines are just, if you increase the opacity to 100%, it's gonna look like this. But if you don't do that and you just put 30%, it's gonna give a really cool effect. And now here in the grass area, I'm not gonna do these areas in this episode. I'm just gonna do the water areas, and I think I might go with sand here. And now I will put my uh, how do you call it, to the track. I always put a fish in water areas in my track, um, pretty much always. It's either a fish or a pumpkin, but I haven't put pumpkins lately. I'm just gonna put a fish. Yeah, that's not necessary, and just I started doing this quite some time ago, and I never stopped. And now I'm just gonna increase the hay map of the areas with mountains. This is not probably gonna look good, I think, because it's a really small mountain, and well, we'll see. Um, I might wanna add some haymaker to the track, like here. I'm just gonna make a really gentle slope. Yeah, maybe I probably messed up. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. I'm just gonna save and see if it looks good in game. I don't know. I'm. It's probably gonna look a lot better when I add bushes. I mean, and a little bit of trees. But I'm just gonna conclude my episode here, not to make it too long. So see you in the next episode.